I'm out here at the ranch today. You're looking at a very valuable tool of the ranch hand 150 years ago today, and they're still valuable today. Not only for catching livestock, be it cattle or horses, but it also is a survival tool and as a weapon, and it also was famous for something else. Because if somebody stole your horse or stole your cattle, you used a rope and you hung them. You killed them with a rope. You killed them with a rope, hanging them. They said in southwest Nebraska, most of a dozen people were killed with a rope. With a rope. Now that didn't count Indians, nor did it count Mexicans. Because of the time and the racism back then, they weren't considered equal to a white man. But with that in mind, though, you might think, well, that was just the Old West. Never happened again. Well, you'd be wrong. 1912 in this area, a 12-year-old girl was raped and beaten to death by an immigrant worker. The mob came to the sheriff's office, drugged the man out, and they hung him. And the sheriff let them do it. They let him be hung. Now, he'd admitted that he'd committed the crime. And so they just hung him that night. But you might think 1912 might be the last time that ever happened in southwest Nebraska. But in the beginning of World War II, there were sympathizers over here in America and a few in southwest Nebraska that thought Adolf Hitler was, the right man at the right time. They thought of him and the Nazi Party as almost a god for the white people. Well, a few of them went beyond just thinking and talking, and they started burning up the fields of the wheat fields and corn fields of the farmers, trying to help in any way they could hurt America so that the Germans could win the war. Well, not very many fields got burned up, though, until the men that were doing it got caught. There wasn't no trial. No trial, just a rope is what was said. And they hung them. They buried them deep. And as far as the news reporting, it never happened. It never happened. But that was one of the legends I hear. And if you think, well, okay, 1940s was the last time. Well, again, you'd be mistaken. In the 1970s, some bikers, Hells Angels types, came through and causing trouble. And the cops, well, they beat them up and ran them out of this area. But then they came back in the 1990s, hoping to set up drug distribution in the area and maybe some prostitution. But some good old boys, legend says maybe the Klan, they ran them out. And those that they didn't run out, they used a rope on. And then they buried them deep. That's some of the legends I hear on the street. But the real question is, would you ever be part of a mob? What would it take to make you join a mob with a rope and want to hang somebody? How far would you have to be pushed? Or how much of an insanity of a crime against individuals or perhaps against the nation would it take before you'd say no more and break out the rope and break out the rope? It's real easy to say you'd never do it now, but if this nation falls or if it becomes the day after scenario, you might be surprised how many people are more than willing to become a mob and hang those that got us into this situation, be it elected or the bankers, or maybe just the guy down the street that you didn't like. This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's quite a tool that does a real good job for the ranchers, and I even think everybody should own a rope for a lot of different reasons, excluding the one for hanging people. Rate this film.